Super Smash Bros. Melee. How do I best describe the impact this game has had over the last 2 decades? I could talk about its influence on esports, or how it's solely responsible for keeping the GameCube controller in production for 4 generations. Or I could just show you this footage from when the game was first unveiled at E3. Super Smash Bros. Melee is pure fun. 20 years of late night pizza parties, 20 years of bringing your own controller, and 20 years of fox wankers. Sorry guys, you know who you are. This game has been responsible for so many good memories over the past 2 decades, and in this video, I'd like to look back at some of them. And yes, I do realize the game actually came out in 2001 in Japan and the US. Unfortunately, us peasants here in Europe didn't get it until 2002. Also, just to be clear, I'm not going to be talking about anything competitive like big tournaments or advanced techniques like wave dashing. How the hell are you supposed to do wave dashing anyway? No, these are just some memories I have playing Melee with my friends. And speaking of competitive stuff, everyone had that one friend who thought they could go pro. You know, the one who rubbed their left analog stick down to the nub. This friend would always insist on stock, no items, and final destination. And 20 years later, this guy still gets sick pleasure from going to cons and beating up random kids on the Smash Brothers kiosks. And then you have the opposite friend. All items on very high, 1 stock, super sudden death, 4-player melee, and some random stage. It was pure chaos. And then of course there was always the friend who forgot to press A on the finish screen, so the characters were just left clapping forever. And Smash Brothers wasn't just limited to your friends. There was always that one poor adult who'd get dragged into playing the game with you. For me, it was my Uncle Tim, who always had his own names for the characters. The Italian, the Skinny Italian, Dr. Italian, the Italian Shadow, Elf, Elf's Missus, Elf's Kid, that Pocket Man rat thing, and Phil from down the pub. And speaking of characters, people got very particular about their mains. There were of course the Fox and Falco wankers. It's just this. Eventually one of them would get fed up, usually Falco. Then you had the Marth and Roy boys. Enough said. We all had the friend who thought they were legendary as Kirby. Great job. Who can forget the Falcon Punch spammers? And of course, there were the Ness mains. Everyone hates them. You then had the friend who didn't really care. They played as Link, who they called Zelda, but somehow they were the last ones to stay alive, whilst all the serious players just took each other out. But at least these guys played the game. How about the friend who always paused to take inappropriate photos? And a special shout out to all the younger siblings who'd get the knockoff controller with broken buttons. This was the blessed time before DLC, so the game had some novel ways of unlocking characters. Remember leaving your console on overnight to unlock Mewtwo? And how about the insurmountable pressure you feel when you're just playing the game at some random Jigglypuff and you hear... Most of us still didn't have computers or the internet back then, so we relied on advice from friends. And of course, this led to all sorts of crazy rumors on the playground. I had a friend who was adamant that Goku was a secret character, and you had to play the game for a year straight to unlock him. Or another friend whose dad's friend's sister's uncle's son worked for Nintendo and told him that Shrek was in the next Smash Bros. Game. A few years later, in order to avoid all these rampant rumors, Masahiro Sakurai would make daily posts on the Super Smash Bros. Brawl website detailing new characters, stages, and features. Oh my god, holy shit, the banana peel is back. But back to Melee. As fun as the game was, it had some pretty tense moments. Who can forget the pain of target test? Or delicately beating the out of the home run bag before hitting it last second. And listen, few things come close to the tension of sudden death. And then the bombs come. Collecting the trophies was also one of my favorite parts about this game. And look, it's cool to get everyone's favorites like Mario, Link, and Yoshi, but I always preferred the more obscure trophies like prescription medication, 4 lads on a night out, Red M&M, Pit before the plastic surgery, and me after a day at the office. I also love the amount of detail that went into crafting some of these, like the engine on the Excite bike, or all of these little details on the Marked Rider bike. But my favorites got to be this Meowth. Look, they actually went out of their way to model his Stratocaster, right down to the amount of knobs and pickups it has. If you zoom right in, you can see that decal actually says Meowth instead of Fender. And so that was Super Smash Bros. Melee, a game that made gaming becoming a social event. The excitement of going around to a friend's house, everyone would bring their own controller, pizza and coke, 2-man tournaments, 4-man tournaments, Luigi-only tournaments, talking shit to your friends only to get knocked out in the first bracket. Something about turning on the GameCube with this game inside seemed to create a space-time distortion. You'd start playing it and then suddenly it was midnight, and then suddenly it's been 2 decades, and I still don't know how the hell to wave dash. Thanks for watching. Please let me know the memories, experiences, and stories you have of playing this game in the comments. Also, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and follow me on Twitter.